Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Another Fat Guy Cooks. I am your fat guy, Andy Baker, and today we have a very special guest on Crime and Nourishment, Mr. Sage Francis. Say hello.
Well, thanks for having me. Listen, I've been racking my brain since you first hit me up because I hate the premise of your show.
What, fat people?
Okay, three things that I hate right off the bat. Actually, two, because I don't mind the fat person thing. That's
Okay.
You know, I should have thought of that before you, but I didn't. So respect. But thinking of am I really going to implicate myself? And I'm not a foodie, but I've traveled a lot, so I've eaten so many different things that I'm excited to tell you what I want, but I'm pissed off I don't get to eat it.
So we'll jump into why you're here and the bit that you don't want to do. You are on death row for something. What did you do?
Well, it turns out I inadvertently killed B. Dolan. My partner in Epic Beardman, who he recently had spine surgery.
I saw.
Yeah, so he had been dealing with compressed discs through all the years of us touring, doing videos together, just being crazy.
Yeah.
And at any moment, he could have been paralyzed.
It's miserable as well.
And he's been going through crazy pains, and I just was not as sensitive to that as I should have been. As you know, just as a ball busting friend, I just was like, "Come on, dude, come on, pussy, come on, do it, do this, do that." I push him down in the snow. Anything I did could have paralyzed the cat, and then I'd see him laying there in the snow, laugh at him, and walk away. And then he just froze to death, and then I ended up on death row because I was taking a film of it. I thought it was all so funny, and I really fucked up. So I'm willing to accept my sentence because I can't live with myself knowing I did that to my best friend.
Okay.
My best man. And yeah, so that's what happened, man. It's fucked up.
That's rough, man.
When I learned how severe it was, what he was dealing with, all I could do is run through every memory of the things that I remember him telling me his hands were numb, or he couldn't carry certain things if we were loading in and out of venues. And the frustration I would feel because we're similarly aged. He's a little younger than me.
Sure.
So I'm just thinking, man, if I can do it, so can you. Just fucking man up, do it. It's such a bullshit mentality, but it is kind of how we work and how we deal with things.
Yeah.
And I can remember we did a video called You Can't Win. And part of the video, we were supposed to clothesline each other like WWE wrestlers.
Okay.
And I just came up with it on the spot. I was like, all right, now we're going to run across the playground and clothesline each other and land on our backs. And he was like, oh, okay. And I don't know. I have a history in martial arts. I know how to land. I know, I know how to fall. He doesn't. And to me, it was just such a simple concept. Just do it. And I could totally see how that would have gone very wrong if we weren't lucky the way we were and how it went right. But yeah, so that's what happened.
Well, I mean, at least you put him out of his misery as well.
Right.
Okay, cool. So we know why you're on death row. I have now got the task of making your last meal.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to dedicate it to him because this is something we discovered together.
Okay.
And it also, it brings me back to when we were in the UK doing the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And we had to walk about a mile every day to our venue. And there was a Malaysian restaurant that we discovered along our walk, and then it became our favorite spot. And Malaysian restaurants are incredibly rare. We don't have any around where I live. And the food we were getting, I've never been able to get ever since.
Okay.
So it was a place called Kampong Ali Malaysian Delight. And the food, what I love to get there was curry laksa noodle soup paired with I think it's pronounced Roti Canai, which are
Okay.
like crispy pancakes with curry sauce. There's a lot
Right.
of curry, but it's the magic in this meal is the broth. It's just an incredibly tasting, spicy yet tasty. Like it's a lot of Asian places are either too spicy, you can't really
Hmm.
appreciate the taste, or not any taste in it. You know, I don't
Yeah.
really know how it works like that. And I know a lot of preparation goes into dishes like this. But the pancakes aren't, they're kind of like a squishy bread that you dip. And it's just something about the sauce and the pairing, the like accompanying
Hmm.
these two things together. I could eat it every single day. And
Awesome.
I don't get to eat it anymore. So that's what I like.
All right, cool.
That's
Well,
what I
what
want.
I'm going to do is get you to, after this is finished, email that to me,
Okay.
because I am not going to try and Google that from that pronunciation.
Okay. Yeah, I get it for
But yeah, man, definitely. I will. I'll get on it. I'll find the restaurant. I'll do a bit of research and get everything together. So what we'll probably do is, if it works for you, same time next week,
Yep, we can do that.
if that works. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll get everything prepared. I'll have it all laid out, ready to go, and then we'll come back and we'll see how well I did and how much it sort of looks like. Well, I mean, the best you can do is how well it looks. It could taste like shit for all you know, but
yeah, just tell me how good it is.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we'll wrap this up for now, and we'll meet back here in a week. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right, here comes the email. Best wishes,
And
brother.
nice one, man. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Peace.
Peace. Okay, so we are here in the kitchen stroke studio, and we have got a meal to make. Now that Sage Francis. If you don't know who that was, I suggest you Google him, check out his music. It's amazing. I've been listening to it for years and big fan, and that was pretty fucking cool. So we're going to try and do a really good job of making his meal for him, even though he is not going to get to taste it and is just going to look at it and then get executed. But, you know, it's better than nothing, I suppose. The first thing that we've got to make, a day ahead, which it is now, is Roti Canai. Roti Canai. Roti Canai. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so what this is a Malaysian flatbread pancake kind of thing that accompanies a curry and or a soup, and you dip it in and you eat it with it, and it's delicious, and it sort of adds that nice crispy carby bready bit to the meal, like a naan or a pita, or you know, whatever. It's the accompanying bread to the meal. So first thing that we need to do is we need to make the dough. So we're going to bring our old stand mixer back, which we've not seen in a while. Some of you may have seen a video of me practicing this recipe the other day where the stand mixer was having a bit of a seizure and trying to throw itself off my kitchen counter. So there may be more of that today. So we need a bowl. Okay, so this is going to make enough for like 4 people. Obviously we're only going to eat like 2 of these, but anything that just requires 1 egg in it, you can't really fuck down the recipe too much because it's really hard to put half an egg in shit. So we'll just do it as is. We need 4 cups of strong bread flour, which is this. So we're going to do 1. Whoa. Ah. Okay. 4 cups bread flour. Easy. Like most recipes, we don't actually need any more flour after that, because it's not one of those where you have to like flour your surfaces or anything like that. Okay, and everything can just go straight into here, so it's nice and easy. So we just need 1 egg. You don't have to really put these in any particular order, it all just gets mixed in together, which is nice. So we're going to need some condensed milk, which is always fun to get out of the tin, as you can see. I should have just taken the lid off, but I didn't want it to go bad. Man. Man, I could just drink this stuff. It's almost like it's very similar to something else that... No. And we need 3 tablespoons of ghee, which, if you have watched any of my stuff before, you will know that ghee is clarified butter, which is just butter that's had the top and the bottom layers skimped off and just keeps that pure, nice fat layer, which just makes it super great. Right, I need 3 tablespoons of ghee. So we're just going to do a little bit extra because we also will need a bit later on. 2. Three, and a bit more. Okay. And then we're literally just going to blitz this in maybe 10-second increments. Okay, so we have softened our ghee. So we're just going to give this a quick stir, just to incorporate it all so it's the same consistency. Make an absolute fucking mess of everything. And then we need 3 tablespoons of this. So there's 1. That's 2. And that's near as damn it 3, and I'll throw a little bit extra in just to make sure. Okay, 3. Done. Stay. And make sure I put my lid on my ghee because it's expensive as fuck. So we're going to put this on here. We're going to attach our dough hook. Okay, and then we're going to start whisking this while adding 1 1/4 cups of water. So let's see. We're going to do it on low, like so. I don't want to put super cold water. So 1. And 1/4. And then we're going to turn this up and we're going to let this go for about 10 minutes. I don't know if you can see this. It's separated off into a separate piece. I don't know if that looks like anything to you, but it kind of looks like something to me. Okay. Go away. So we are just going to knead this out for the last bit. Put your tits into it. We want the ball to be almost perfect because we're going to cut it in half, so then obviously we want that to be perfect too. So then we want to cut them in half. Like so. And we're looking at making 10 balls. So we then need to not cut these in half because I've done that before, I've completely ruined shit. So we kind of then need to probably, that one's probably a throwaway. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to make these little guys into individual little balls too. And then we just pinch up the bottoms, look. Tuck them in so they seal. And make little balls. Boom. This is just going to make it loads easier when we come to forming them into the actual bready bits tomorrow. Boom. Okay, so now what we need is something to keep our balls in, and we need to get covered in butter basically. So we're going to get our ghee and we're going to rub it all around the inside of this like so, and we're going to get a load of it on our hands Get a good chunk of it on our hands, and we're going to butter our hands up so they are all greasy. This is the easiest way I found to do this, because I don't want the butter too hot. And then we're going to grab each ball, we're going to give it a little rub around in our hands, and then place it in. Okay. Alright, well, that's as many as I can fit in there, so I'm going to go and take that one and I'll cook that one tonight. I'm going to click my fingers. It is then going to teleport us to tomorrow, when we are going to start cooking our Laksa soup, and we will be about, I don't know, an hour away from Sage calling back and finishing the episode off. So, I will see you right now. We are calling Sage Francis back in an hour to present him with his last meal. We should probably make it. We're gonna bring back a second special guest on the show, which is the Ninja Foodie, my favourite little kitchen guy. And we're gonna use the sear saute function to basically just turn it into a giant one of these. Easy. So, first thing we're going to do is we are going to make our base soup, and we're going to get that cooking and bubbling and all nice and happy, and then we can start pissing around with making our bread things that you've already seen the preparation for. Okay? Okay, so first thing we need to do is get this guy turned on to sear saute on. Let's get it on high for now. And basically all that's going to do is turn the bottom of this pan into a saute pan. Sorted. So we're also going to throw in a little bit splash of neutral oil, just some vegetable oil is fine. And this is just so that we can cook off some of our spices, which makes the base of our sauce. I've also set up the old GoPro up here, hello, which should give you a better shot of inside the Ninja, hopefully. We'll see how that pans out. Yep, let's get it nice and hot. Okay, so first thing we need is Laksa paste. Now, yes, you can make this from scratch. Massive fucking ball ache. These guys do it better. Don't waste your time. Got this from a place called Tuk Tuk in Manchester, who were amazing. Got it to me really quick. Thank you, Tuk Tuk. Your details are down in the description. If you live in England and you need cool Malaysian shit, Tuk Tuk are your people. Right, I need half a cup of Laksa paste. Now, this stuff is like a really sour, spicy, yeah, so basically it's fermented chilies and lemongrass and Malaysian things. Big old pot of Malaysian things. So we're going to take half a cup of our big old pot of Malaysian things, and we're going to throw it into our saute pan. We are going to add to that a teaspoon of turmeric, which we're just going to do by eye. About that much. And cayenne pepper to taste. So again, about a teaspoon of that. Maybe a bit more. Okay. And then we're just going to move that around and cook it off. Just to cook off our spices and bring out those flavours. So you've got to be careful at this stage, because this is the point where you can burn your Laksa paste if you're not careful. So you just have to keep a bit of an eye on it and make sure everything is looking good. And oh my god, it smells fucking awesome already. So we're just being super careful not to burn it. You want to do this for about a minute and a half. Now, once that has cooked, which it's looking about right now, we're going to take about a quarter of a can of our coconut oil and we're going to throw that in. That might anger it slightly, but that's fine. It might start bubbling up, but we're just going to basically we're going to mix this in now because it kind of helps it all emulsify and mix together. So if you dump it all in at once, it can break. So you do a little bit at a time, and then that will start to look really, really tasty. Okay, and then we're going to throw in the rest of our coconut milk, sorry. And we're also going to add 3 cups of chicken stock. Now, this is homemade chicken stock, took me a day to make. I will do a video at some point telling you how to make good chicken stock. But you need 3 cups of this. So 1, 2, 3. Lovely. And then we're just going to mix this around, get it all incorporated, get all the bits off the sides, off the bottom, and make sure that that coconut milk is fully integrated into the sauce or into the soup. And then we are just going to let that cook through and sit on like a sort of just below a simmer for about 20 minutes, something like that. We don't want it to boil, we don't really want it to evaporate off too much stuff. We just want it to cook through and just for all the flavours to meld in and everything to start, you know, tasting homogeneous and really, really fucking tasty. We want it to be fucking tasty. Basically, cook it till it's really tasty. Smells amazing. Right. While that's cooking, we're going to make a very sort of slapdash chili sauce that you use to sort of dip your bread in. You can throw a bit of it in your soup, just like a nice sort of chili little accompaniment to everything. Yeah? So we've got some stuff here called sambal, which is like a chili paste. It's like a fermented, again, chili paste, but it's literally just chilies with a little bit of other stuff, but mainly just chilies. Fucking gorgeous stuff. We need about 3 teaspoons of sambal, which is about that. We want about, I mean that's way more than 3 teaspoons, but I'm just getting the ratios right. And then we want about 1/3 as much of the Laksa paste, so about that. And the other option, the other thing you want to add is about 2 teaspoons of kind of whatever you want. If you want it to be a bit tamer, you can do like tomato ketchup. If you want it to be really spicy, you can do crazy hot sauce. Sriracha is also really good. You're just looking for something to thin it out a little bit and to sort of make it a bit more saucy, because both of these things are quite sort of vegetable heavy. So this is just something to make it more of a kind of dipping sauce. So what I'm gonna do is, the only thing I've actually got at the moment that comes close is some Frank's Red Hot. So we're just going to add in about 2 teaspoons of Frank's. And I'm just going to give it a little taste. So you may remember our little bread guys from last time. They have plumped up a little bit, as you can see. The good thing about doing this is that we get to get nice and lubed up. So, we're going to take some ghee, and we are going to ghee up our workstation. We want the whole thing to be covered in ghee so that none of this sticks. Right, we're going to ghee up our hands too. We're going to take the first one of our balls. We're just going to make sure we're back in a ball shape, and then we're going to put it in the centre of our work surface, and we're going to start spreading it. So we are trying to get this as big as humanly possible. We basically want the whole thing to be like a sheet of ball skin, like just super thin, like so you could almost see through it. I'm not the only one with translucent balls, right? So you can see as you work the bits that are thicker and the bits that are thinner. If it breaks, you just pinch it back together and hope for the best. But it doesn't really matter if there's any tears in it. So to get it even thinner than this, what we do is we pick up a side, we stretch it, and then we put it back down. Pick up a side, stretch it, put it back down, and then we keep doing that as we go around until we've got something that is almost transparent. Go all the way out to the edges. Try and keep it as round as you can. Okay, right, looks okay. So, now what we do is we smear the entire top of it with ghee. And what this does is it makes it so when we fold it back together, it doesn't stick to itself. So it kind of makes layers, like almost like sort of a croissant or something like that. Okay, and then once we've done this, what we do is we go from one side and we start bringing it back together like this. And what that does is it kind of pleats it as it goes and makes it look like giant grandma labia. As you can see. I don't want to be putting anyone on blast. If you're a grandma out there and you're offended that I'm comparing this to your labia, I apologise. But it's the first thing that came to my mind. Okay, so you've got this weird, like, pussy looking, long strip of flappy stuff. Now we've got our big strip, what we do is just make sure it's all kind of uniform. And then we start twiddling it up like a little pinwheel. Trying to keep it level. Twiddle it all up. Like so, and then tuck the end into the middle, and we end up with something that looks like something between like a rosebud and an abscess. Yeah? Boom. So we're going to make one more of those, which I'm going to skip through because you don't need to see me do that twice. Okay, so we're back with Sage Francis. How's it going, man?
It's going very good. How are you doing, Andy?
Yeah, really good, thank you. So first off, thank you very much for setting me the task to make a dish of something that I have no ingredients for during a pandemic when you can't anything from anywhere. I now have an extra cupboard for supplies in my kitchen, but it was an experience this week.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, you got a Sainsbury's nearby?
Sainsbury's, we do. I do have a Sainsbury's right up the road, actually. But I actually had to get quite a lot of stuff from this place in Manchester called Tuk Tuk, like a Malay food dispensary, and got a load of stuff from there. But right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start assembling your meal. We've got the soup going using my Ninja foodie thingy that does everything. These guys right here are, you can see, little dough balls that we are now going to, this is the tricky bit, get a load of ghee, which I assume you already know is clarified butter.
Now I do.
Yeah. Spread it out on here, and then we flatten these little guys out. which I've pre-rolled before, and they're kind of like croissants where they've sort of been layered. And then for a bit more ghee on here. And then these are your Roti Canai.
Right. Little fun pancakes.
Little fun pancakes, yeah. So we're just going to brown those on both sides. So while they're going, we have our soup in here. So just for the last, where are you? For the last couple of minutes, we're just going to throw in some fresh shrimp. Because it was like a chicken or shrimp option.
Yeah, you could do chicken, shrimp, tofu. It's whatever.
Yeah, so we're going to throw the shrimp in, and we're also going to throw some of these guys in, which are like deep fried tofu puffs.
All right.
So bang a few of those in too. So you said this was a place in Scotland where you got this, right? Edinburgh.
Yeah. It's the only Malaysian restaurants I've ever been to are in the UK, and that was the first one.
Right.
The second one I think was in London, and it was very similar. It wasn't as good as what I had in Edinburgh, but similar. Yeah.
And we've also got our water on the boil here, so we can do our noodles, which we're going to throw in now. I tried to get this all sort of planned out in advance so I could kind of do it all nice and quick, and then realised I'd done it like an hour too early. So luckily, you were kind enough to offer to come on a bit earlier for me.
Yeah, hey, it works for me.
Worked out perfect. So just grab, see if my cable reaches. Not quite. So as you can see, these guys now nice and brown, and they've got like a swirly pattern in them. So what you do is you flatten the dough out almost to a sheet so you can almost see through it, and then you pleat it up at the edges and bring it into a line so it looks like a giant cow labia. And then you roll it into a little pinwheel, and then you flatten it out again, and then that's what makes these guys.
Nice.
So it took a little bit of research and practice, but.
Did you get to eat this already just to try it out? You did, yeah. Yeah,
I'm not gonna. Okay. Let's say I've eaten it for 2 nights in a row, and I could quite gladly eat it for another 10.
Sweet. Yeah.
It's the thing that you told me about the heat of it being a really weird kind of like it's hot, but then it just doesn't linger and goes away, so you can just eat it and eat it and eat it, and it doesn't ruin your day. Mm-hmm. It's just it's perfect. So those look like they're about done. Right, stop plating this up. Also, what we've got here is, I think you said something about the chili sauce.
Yeah, what that gets mixed with the curry.
Well, from what I can tell, you sort of serve this as a side that you can like dip the these guys in, and you can also spoon it into the curry as well.
Okay, I just remember the curry and the broth being, not the dipping sauce and the curry sauce being incredibly similar, almost identical.
Well, they are, because the Laksa paste that you use to make this guy is basically the main ingredient in this.
Okay.
So that's why you were getting those getting the crossover. So we're just going to pour some of that out there. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me through this.
That's all right. This is great. You're actually inspiring me to figure out how to make this on my own, since I can't get it anywhere else.
Seriously, once you've done it once, it's not that difficult at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm, not a terrible cook, but I'm an awful baker, and I've managed to. Which my last name's Baker, so the irony is not lost on me. But these are actually really fucking easy because they're kind of more pancakes than they are bread.
Right.
And bread is my fucking nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah, our oven doesn't even work here, so we do all our cooking on the stove top and with the air fryer.
One of these, the air fryers are.
Yeah, we also have an Instant Pot, which looks very similar to what you're using.
Well, this is air fryer, pressure cooker, Instant Pot, everything.
Bomb.
So, start.
Looks good.
Tofu puffs are kind of taking over it, but I don't think that ever hurt anybody. So there's the Laksa soup. Now we've also got some cilantro.
I'm sad to say that I used to love cilantro, and now it gives me the soapy flavor.
Oh, is it turned on you?
Yeah. It's really upsetting. It's very, very upsetting.
I bet. I also got
some
green onions. Sorry, carry on.
No, I mean, my wife is a huge cilantro fan, and we used to enjoy a lot of Asian dishes. And now I'm like, why does this taste so weird? And she's like, it tastes great. I was like, no, it's soapy. I was like, fuck's sake.
Can't believe your palate turned on you.
It's very upsetting.
Oh, you know what I've completely forgot to do?
The noodles?
I forgot to put the fucking noodles in. Man.
Who cares?
We can do this.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit. Because they go underneath. So there we go. Nobody would know the difference. These guys over. Turn that off. And there you go. Jesus, that's hot. Ow. So let me see if I can get this over to the camera so you can have a proper look.
Yeah, I need a close-up of that broth. I got to see the red specks and the orange liquid. There we go. Yes.
How's that look?
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my God. So honestly, this has been an amazing experience learning how to make this because I've never done Malaysian food before. And this is fucking brilliant. So we have a spoon, which I think I should probably eat this with chopsticks, but
yeah, it doesn't actually. One of those wide spoons is good to do too.
Yeah. So as you can see, like flaky, kind of falls apart.
Yeah, that's great.
Almost like a sort of croissant kind of consistency inside. Mm-hmm. So try a little bit of the paste. Just like so sour and sort of spicy at the same time, but there's like so many flavors. This is so cruel. I'm so sorry for this.
I know this is torture in a way.
The broth, you can just see how it's like perfect comfort food for some people.
Oh yeah.
Because it's, obviously growing up in England, comfort food to me is, white bread with no seasonings on it, eaten off the floor. Yeah. But for countries that actually have food, this is amazing.
Yeah, I gotta say it because I remember all those rainy walks through Edinburgh and like getting some refuge in this restaurant and getting to eat that. It's a top tier memory for me.
Yeah,
very nice. Definitely gonna try my hand at making that.
Yeah, you really should. I mean, what I'll do is I've actually written down an idiot's guide to doing it effectively, just to sort of remind myself as I'm doing it. So I'll send you that over.
I appreciate it.
So you can have a go at it yourself.
Sweet.
But that's about it, man.
Thank you so much. My wife's going to thank you later too, because I've been telling her all about this,
Yeah.
and we've never got to eat it together. And now we're gonna have a home cooking adventure.
Well, as you can see, all easy to do in the Instant Pot and the
Got it.
whatever. So
I don't have that little black circle that cooks things though.
this guy, well, just like a cast iron skillet, same thing.
Oh, I've got that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a crate maker.
Oh yeah.
But-
we should get one of those though.
Yeah, but you can make like a whole breakfast on it, just like throw bacon on it, eggs, sausage, whatever, and nice and easy. But Sage Francis, thank you very much for coming on the show, man.
Be healthy, be good, be safe out there. I hope to get to connect someday so we can eat together.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Jason Fury.
Yes.
For helping me set all this up. Jason Fury is a good friend of mine who has been a fan of yours for the last 300 years.
Yeah, I've known of well, it's the Furyverse. We just live in it,
We just live in it. But this wouldn't have happened if he hadn't have given you a bit of a nudge in my direction. So
right.
Big shout out to Jason Fury as well.
Salute.
So another Fat Guy's just cooked. That's Sage Francis. I'm Andy Baker. We'll see you later. Peace.
Another fat guy cook.